Andy here, and today I have another book haul for you. Oh my gosh, you bought more books? No way, I'm so surprised, said no one ever. I did go to my used bookstore, so these are all books from the used bookstore. I found some interesting books that I've never been exposed to before. I don't know anything about the writers. A few I do. I feel like I found some interesting, unique stuff this time. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first book that I have here is Joyce Carol Oates' The Doll Master and Other Tales of Terror. You guys know I am a huge Joyce Carol Oates fan. So this is a collection of short stories, and it just says that in the title story, a boy becomes obsessed with his cousin's doll after she tragically passes away. And as he grows older, he begins to collect found dolls from surrounding neighborhoods. But just what kind of dolls are they, you might ask? Well, let me tell you. In Gun Accident and Investigation, a teen girl is delighted to house sit for her favorite teacher until an intruder forces his way inside, changing more than one life forever. The Dollmaster closes with a taut biblio-mystery about the owner of a middling chain of mystery bookstores whose plan is to take over a rare bookshop in scenic New Hampshire whose plan derails. I can read. I can do it. Sometimes, not all the time, but I can. Derails into a game of verbal cat and mouse that threatens to have real-life consequences. Throughout, Oates evokes the fascination of the abomination that is the core of the most profound, the most unsettling, and the most memorable of dark mystery fictions. If you guys have not gotten your hands on a Joyce Carol Oates horror book, highly recommend if that's what you're into. I mean, her writing is just fantastic, and a lot of her stories are pretty dark, pretty twisted, and I know that she does pull a lot of inspiration from real life events, which makes things a bit creepier, considering that oftentimes they're real. Anyways, this was $3, so definitely a great find. Very excited about that. There's just a creepy little doll head down there. Okay. Next up, we have this guy, Agatha Christie, Death Comes as the End. So I have quite a few Agatha Christie books in my collection, but this one in particular caught my eye. I don't know, something about the cover. Anyways, this one was $1.50, and the back just says that the story started nearly 4,000 years ago in Egypt. You guys know I love anything about Egyptian mythology, ancient Egypt. It says it is a murder story, sevenfold. No fret, the beautiful concubine was the first to die, and then 6 more members of the master's family were struck down. Had they been killed by the ghost of the first to die? I don't know, but I will find out and I will let you know. I'm very excited to read this. I thought that, yeah, it just looked interesting. And speaking of fantastic whodunit novels, if you guys are a fan, I would like to introduce another book to you. So this portion of the video is actually sponsored by Blackstone Publishing, but I have to tell you guys about this book because it is really fun. So this is called Pinyon Scorpion and the Barbershop Detectives. This is by Rick Lewis. This is such a fun book. So it really is like a classic whodunit type story, but this one's actually a little different from your classic Sherlock Holmes-y type tales. And so Scorpion, he is the new inspector in town. He's actually in the town that his old barber works in now. So the two of them reconnect, and he's kind of talking about how his life's been a little boring lately. There's not too many mysteries to solve. Well, someone in the barbershop says, I might have something to pique your interest. A young stranger showed up at my uncle's door the other day and told him that he is his long-lost son. Well, his uncle very much so denies having any extramarital affairs behind his wife's back, but the young boy insists that he is his long-lost son. So Scorpion decides to take on the case, but the unique thing is he asks the entire barbershop to help him solve these cases. He's obviously great at observing things. He can, tell what a person's job is just by identifying ink on a sleeve of their clothes and things like that. But he's really open to hearing what other people have to say and their opinions, and they really do solve these mysteries together, which is kind of like a fun twist on a classic tale. One other thing that I definitely want to say about this is it's absolutely character driven. So although the plot is very interesting, the twists and turns are very engaging, they really are driven by those characters. There's a lot of fun individual characters in here. So if you would like to put some fun back in your reading with a classic whodunit novel, absolutely pick this guy up. The link will be in the description below, and you won't regret it. It really is a fun novel. Thank you so much to Blackstone for sponsoring this portion of the video, and let's get back to the book haul. Next up we have here, this is by Doris Lessing. This is called The Fifth Child, and it just says a hair-raising tale as full of twists and shocks as any page turner could desire. And this is what it looks like. So obviously the cover is what intrigued me on this one as well. I've never seen a horror cover quite like this before. It says, in this unconstrained atmosphere of England in the late 1960s, Harriet and David Lovett, an upper middle class couple, face a frightening vicissitude. As the day's events take a dark and ugly turn, nearing an apocalyptic intensity, the Lovetts' guarded contentedness and view of the world as a benign place are forever shattered by the violent birth of their fifth child, Ben. Monstrous in appearance, insatiable hunger, abnormally strong, demanding, and brutal. It doesn't really say much else, so I'm very intrigued by this. Let me know if you guys have ever heard of this story. I don't know what to think. This was $3, and it just says a horror story of maternity and the nightmare of social collapse, of a moral fable of the genre that includes Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and George Orwell's 1984. Interesting. Definitely intrigued to check this out. Let me know what you guys think about that guy. Next up here we have The Day After Tomorrow. Robert A. Heinlein. So Heinlein, this must be from the science fiction section. This was $1.50 as well. This just says 6 men against 400 million. The dean of space-age fiction tells the thrilling story of 6 men who set out to save America from annihilation. 6 men armed with 2 weapons. One, a radically new scientific discovery, an atomic energy which can be controlled, and the other, their own determination to defend their country against a deadly invasion. The Day After Tomorrow is as exciting as a spy story, as fascinating as the secret government documents, as logical as scientific experiment. It is Robert Heinlein at his best. These old books, I'm telling you, they need to make a perfume that is book scented. I would buy the out of that. Yeah, that's nice. When was this published? 1949. I love getting these old type of books. And again, look at the cover on this one. It just really is. My bookstore is just so cool. I'm so lucky to have a bookstore like this. Okay, next up here we have Her Fearful Symmetry. It's written very difficult to read, but it says author of The Time Traveler's Wife. I'm not really sure what that is, by Audrey Niffenegger. And this guy says, it opens with a letter that alters the fate of every character. Julia and Valentina Poole are semi-normal American 20-year-olds with seemingly little interest in college or finding jobs. Their attachment to one another is intense. One morning, the mailman delivers a thick envelope to their house in the suburbs of Chicago from a London solicitor. That enclosed letter informs Valentina and Julia that their English aunt, Elspeth, whom they never knew, has died of cancer and left them her London apartment. There are 2 conditions to this inheritance: that they live in it for a year before they sell it, and that their parents never enter it. Julia and Valentina are twins. So were the estranged Elspeth and Eddie, their mother. Or maybe it's Edie. Could be Edie. The girls move to Elspeth's flat, why is that so hard to say, which wonders the vast and ornate Highgate Cemetery, where Christina Rossetti, George Eliot, Radcliffe Hall, Stella Gibbons, and Karl Marx are buried. Julia and Valentina come to know the living residents of their building. As the girls become embroiled in the fraying lives of their aunt's neighbors, they also discover that much is still alive in Highgate, including, perhaps, their aunt. That sounds fun. This guy was $3.50. Again, this is one where the cover just kind of stuck out at me, and I thought, I will give it a read. Her Fearful Symmetry. And also, just what an engaging title. I don't know, this sounds like a blast. Next up here we have this guy. This is by John Coyne, and this is The Shroud. Again, the cover is just fantastic. This one too was $3.50. And it says that, discovered on the steps of the church as a baby, young Father Jamie Ignatius, raised by nuns, now preaches in his only home since birth. Lately in prayer, asking the burning question of his life: who am I, Father? He has experienced horrifying visions of murdering the people he loves. Soon, Jamie begins to have waking visions of a tall figure wrapped in burial linens, its face an image of his own. He seeks help from beautiful Maureen Sullivan, a woman he feels strangely erotically drawn to. A student of parapsychology, she hypnotizes Jamie and guides him back to his past lives. They discover that she is his lover and that Jamie is Judas Thomas, a man believed to be the twin brother of Jesus, who betrayed him to the authorities before his crucifixion. Jamie believes that he has been reborn again and again and atoned for his crimes, and Maureen must agree when she sees a photograph of the Shroud of Turin, believed to be Jesus' burial cloth and the face of the crucified man in Jamie's. In a shattering climax, the shrouded figure leads the entranced Jamie deep into the cathedral's crypt, and towards his own chance to redeem his soul. Interesting. A religious horror novel for you. Not what I expected. I did read the beginning of that when I bought the book. I didn't know it was going to be that religious. I'm not really too interested in religious reading, especially when it pertains to horror books, mostly because it just goes over my head because I don't really know much about religion, so I'm not sure that I'll fully grasp this book, but I don't know, I'll still give it a read and see what it's like. And then last up here, we do have one more Agatha Christie novel. So this is The Last Seance, Tales of the Supernatural, and this one I thought was quite intriguing. This as well was $3.50 because it says, from the Queen of Mystery, an all-new collection of Agatha Christie's spookiest and most sinister stories, including one never before published in the United States. So I have Agatha Christie novels, but I don't have a book of her shorter stories. So I'm very excited for this. I think that this will be really fun. It says, for lovers of the supernatural and the macabre comes this collection of ghostly and chilling stories from legendary mystery writer Agatha Christie, featuring fantastic psychic visions, specters looming in the shadows, encounters with deities, and a man who switches bodies with a cat. The Last Seance gathers 20 stories. Isn't this so neat? Yeah, I've never really come across a book like this. Like I said, I didn't know that she wrote short stories either, so excited to check that out. So that is the book haul. I am very excited to jump into these. Let me know which books you guys think are the most interesting. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you Blackstone for sponsoring this video, and I will catch you guys in the next horror video. Bye guys!